People from 23 states are in our studio audience today. In one moment, we'll ask this cross-section of America to voice their opinions on The Choice is Yours. Here's the star of our show, Bill Cullen.
What a brilliant delegation from Pittsburgh is here today. I don't know where they are, but we're happy to have you in any event. Thank you all for coming. Welcome to The Choice is Yours, the show that measures public opinions on today's issues. Joining us to voice their opinions are our celebrity guests for the whole week. First, one of America's leading trial lawyers, an opinionated champion of the underdog, Melvin Belli. I guess, Melvin, you've got to treat this audience like a jury because they can go against you and your whole case goes down the drain.
And you don't get a chance at a new trial or an appeal, do you?
We can, yeah, we can appeal. There are 2 more networks. Or is it 3? Next, the lovely girl who plays Billy Joe. And she's an all-American girl on Petticoat Junction. But today, we'll find out what her real views are. Meredith McCrae. Hey, Meredith. Your hair is prettier than ever. Not that you aren't, but your hair is sensational.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
It is beautiful. Now that we've taken care of the pretty hair, let me introduce a man fast become known as our most popular poet, philosopher, Mr. Nipsey Russell.
It is said that the Lord made woman last. A divine and wonderful plan, because he didn't want anybody talking him to death while he was making man.
I'll buy that. I'll think for that. Okay. All right, panel. Our studio audience surrounding you here, before you and behind you, will vote electronically on each issue that we present. You'll score points each time your position matches the majority vote of the audience we have here with us. Each of you is playing for a member, as you know, of our studio audience, and audience to each one of you has a chance to win a valuable prize today. All right, we'll tell you about that. Let's get on with our first issue. Now, teaching sex education in many schools has now passed the experimental stage. In light of the country's changing attitudes concerning sex, our first issue is, here it is, do you think it's time for sex education to be introduced in grade schools throughout the country? Yes or no? Mel Belli, how do you stand on this? Don't vote yet, audience. This isn't voting time. We go first to our people.
Can I vote now?
Yes, no.
I vote yes.
All
and
right.
The reason I vote yes is with a bit of ambivalence, whatever that means. I think it should be taught at home first. And I think if it is taught in schools, then the parents will learn that they've been derelict and haven't taught it at home. But it seems to me to be irony and a travesty that here, the region from whence we come, once we're born, that seems to have a curtain drawn down and there's no more anatomy or anything else taught to us.
Right.
I think it's a frightful academic life that we lead and not know all of the practical things. Now, we can get it in school, but there's no substitute for getting it at home. And the reason I would vote yes to have it in school is so that we would get it in home first. And I think if we got it in home, we'd get the same results that we're getting over in the Scandinavian countries, that really the criminal rates have dropped way on down with the teaching of us in schools, so I vote yes.
All right, thank you, Melvin. We have one yes vote on this particular issue. Meredith, what would you like to do?
Bill, I vote yes, too.
I
don't trust most parents. I think, unfortunately, a lot of parents kind of, don't do very much about teaching their children about sex. And I think that we do have to have it in the schools. I was very fortunate as a young child because my parents were quite liberal, and were always, telling us anything that we wanted to know. And we didn't have a lot of taboos in our family, and I was lucky, but I don't trust the rest of the public. I really feel that a lot of parents, have hang-ups in that area, and so I think that it may have to be done in the school.
Okay, yes vote for Meredith, even though her parents knew the subject well.
Right. I know about that, Bill. Take that any way you want it.
Nipsey, we have 2 yeses.
Well, I'll vote no.
All right.
Because if you teach sex in grammar school, then in high school you'll have to have remedial sex.
Yeah.
So, give it up altogether. But actually, I think that the parents of the United States and other countries should be taught through mass media, such as television, how to indoctrinate young children much earlier than school age. I think that this idea of being ashamed of the human body in its nude form should be done away with, but by the parents at home. A child's personality is formed long before he gets to the primary grade. So I say teach it at home.
All right, Nixie, Nixie.
Yeah.
Nipsey, you're the lone no here. We have Melvin and Meredith both going with yeses. And now it's time to find out how our audience will decide the issue, because now it's going to be decided. So this is for you, audience. Do you think it's time for sex education to be introduced in grade schools throughout the country? Yes or no? The choice is yours. Vote. Okay, time's up, and the vote is in. All right, now, if you're ready, let's take a look at the audience vote. See how they voted. Ooh, that was close. 51%, no matter what you say, that's close. Now, here is what the 51% of our people voted for. Yes. Yes is the answer.
Okay, you may want it as long as it's in the books, but wait till they get to the lab demonstration.
Yeah. You're making an appeal. That's what you're doing, Nipsey. Going to a high... Well, now,
reverse.
the audience agreed with Meredith and with Melvin, so you each get 10 points. If only one of you had matched, Nipsey in this case, it would have been 15 points. All three, it's 5 points apiece. So both of you have made 10 points for someone in our audience here who might take home a very valuable prize. It could be anyone in our studio audience today. We'll be right back to see if a wife should stick to her principles no matter what. Right after this. Okay, our next issue is a scene. This is a scene with a familiar problem in it. We'll give 2 possible solutions, and then the choice will be yours. Right over here, if you will watch carefully, please. Now, there seated in the foreground are Harry and his wife, Jean. They're playing Scrabble with Harry's boss, his wife. Now, Harry has already warned Jean that the boss hates to lose at anything and has told her to be sure she lets the boss win the game. Let's look in, see how it's going.
Park. That's 9 points. Plus the P, plus the double word. That gives me 24 points. And I'm ahead by 32 already. All right, Jean. It's your turn.
Oh,
Good move, boss.
Harry.
Your turn, honey.
Harry, I've got a 7-letter word there on a triple score. I've got to play it.
Oh, no, you can't let the boss win.
Harry, it goes right on his case. You've got to let me do it.
If you play that, I'll break your neck.
Okay, the problem. It's Harry's wife or Harry's job. Here's the problem. What should Harry's wife do? Let me state it for you. A, here are the 2 solutions. A, should she stand by her principles, play the 7-letter word and win the game, no matter what? Or B, keep the boss happy, play a shorter word, and lose the game? Meredith, you have to start on this one.
I'm not a woman's liber or anything like that, but I feel personally that she should, A, go ahead and play her word. Mainly because I don't feel that any person should do something just because they're afraid of somebody else. And if he's that mean of a boss, forget it.
Yeah.
But I believe in sticking by your principles. And it's very funny. I was laughing when I watched this because I had a personal experience very similar. When I was dating...
Tell us about it.
When I was dating someone, we were playing Scrabble, and it was just the two of us, and I was way ahead, and I didn't know what to do. And I finally said, oh, heck with it. I'm going to play the whole thing, and I got the extra 50 points and everything. And it worked out okay for me because he's now my husband. So I definitely believe in sticking by your principles and playing the game as hard as you can.
So you don't regret either winning or your marriage?
No, neither one. Not yet.
We'll give you an extra point. Nipsey, we have an A, play to win. What do you say?
I'll say
B.
some men go to fame and fortune. Some go to rack and ruin. Behind every successful man, there's a woman saying, fool, you don't know what you're doing. I say.
Yeah.
It would be nice to let the boss get ahead, because I think he needs one. But I think that she really should do the diplomatic thing. He's brought him home for dinner. He wants him to leave in a happy mood. It's just a social game. It would be a great gesture to let him go away feeling like a great guy and have him back. If it were my husband, I'd let him win.
All right. Now we have both answers, the play to win and purposely lose the game. And Melvin, we're up to you. What is your vote?
I'd go for A, and I think that she ought to beat and clout that fatuous oath that we saw in that picture there with the four-letter word or whatever, and if the husband belted her,
right,
I'd take her case against him. That's the reason I like Martha Mitchell, because she speaks out, and that's the reason. I don't think I like the Attorney General, Mr. Mitchell, but allowing her to speak out, I think a lot more of him.
Right.
I think that the wife should be allowed to speak out and to be a human being, and I'm not particularly one for... All
right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Martha Mitchell will never grow a mustache. She'll talk so much she'll chew the roots off.
Well, I don't know exactly what problem we might have solved, but we've solved a problem somewhere along the line. To recap the votes, we have 2 for A, play to win. Nipsey's all alone, B, purposely lose the game. Let's see how our audience feels about the issue. Audience, which do you feel is the best solution to the problem? Should Gene A, play to win, B, purposely lose the game? All right, the choice is yours. Vote. Okay. Time's up. The vote's in. Hope someone at home had an opinion one way or another on this. But now let's take a look at the audience vote. 2 possibilities, percentage-wise.
77%.
Wow. Now, that's the biggest percentage we have ever had, and we've been playing with these various things for some time. Okay. Here now, if you watch the screen again, because 77% of our audience chose the ending you're about to see. This is it. Watch.
Come on, Jeannie. It's your turn, sweetie.
Okay. A-A-R-D-V-A-R-K, aardvark. That's 7 letters, 15 points on a triple word plus a 50-point bonus, which gives me 95 points, and I win the game!
Nipsey?
Yes.
Would you say the women in our audience right here today are pretty independent people?
I say if this is an indication of what women's lives are going to be, I'll wind up being a Playboy bunny.
Okay, what happens? Once again, Melvin and Meredith share the points, 10 points apiece. And Nipsey, you can come from behind. I've seen you do it before.
I've done it before.
Hey, we'll be back here to discuss an interesting problem in a father-daughter relationship, but first, we have this message for you. Nipsey just addressed the women in our audience, and I think he lost a few friends. Okay, our next issue came to us in the form of a letter. It's from Mr. Bill Thompson of Boston, Massachusetts. Here it is, and here's the way it reads. My 17-year-old daughter is a straight A student, and I'm very proud of her. But at the same time, we have a serious problem. She is against the war and wants to go to an anti-war demonstration. I feel demonstrations are dangerous, and we should leave these things to our elected officials. Now, since she is underage and living under my roof, I refuse to let her go. And here's the proposition. Do you agree that I was right? Signed, a distraught father. All right, panel, what do you think? Was Mr. Thompson right, yes or no? And we begin, I think, with you this time, Nipsey, do we not?
Oh, I give you a very quick no.
You think he was wrong?
I think he was wrong. I think it's wrong for a parent to impose an attitude or an opinion upon a child simply because he's supporting the child. Mm-hmm. And at the age of 17 and a straight A student, that indicates to me that this is a thinking young lady, quite capable of doing the proper thing at a demonstration, and it's time for some activism on the part of a youngster, so I think he should let her go.
Okay, even though she lives under his roof and he's responsible, let her go. That's your vote.
That's right.
All right, Melvin, to you, sir.
Well, I've got to vote no, and for the same reason as Nipsey. But the more interesting question is, what should the student do? Should she honor her father and mother and the roof tree under which she lives? If the father said no, I think the daughter should not go, but the father should not say no, because that would make her resentful, that would make her want to go. She's going to get all of this into the house by means of TV and radio and newspaper. It's dangerous to cross the street. It's dangerous to go to school. It's dangerous to do a lot of these confrontation things to do. But the father has got to be with it a little bit more than he is. Definitely no on this.
2 no's. Meredith, what say you?
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to agree. I say no, too. If she's 17 years old, she's probably in college or about to. And I feel that if she hasn't learned to make her own decisions, she certainly should start right now. And as Nipsey said, if she's a straight A student, then she's probably got a good head on her shoulders. So I feel that the father would have to leave it up to her and not impose his values on her.
It finally happened. Our panel agrees.
We never agree.
Panel agrees completely, all no. This should be interesting. We've seen now what the panel voted. It's time for the audience to decide this issue. And here I'll state it again, audience, to make sure you vote what you actually mean. Was Mr. Thompson right to keep his daughter home from the anti-war demonstration? Now, audience, the choice is yours. Was he right? Vote yes or no. Vote.
Hey, these are parents. This is going to be a no vote.
He's conducting the Daily News poll there. In any event, time's up and our vote is in. At home, you have an opinion, so voice it to whomever you are with as you watch this. Now let's take a look at the audience vote. Percentage-wise now.
72.
72, don't forget it means, well, 72% voted this answer. No. There you are.
Bill, you know what would be interesting is the question put, what should the child do? Should the child obey the parents? And I would say yes.
That would be difficult. Oh,
If that were the question, should she obey?
The young generation is different today, and there's one sure way to know.
Yeah.
Kids used to ask where they came from. Now they'll tell you where you can go.
That's true. Nipsey, if you can word that to get it into a yes or no question, we'll use it tomorrow. 28% of the people had a yes in mind, though, and that surprises me. Only 72 were for. Okay, 5 points will be divided, 15 divided among you, so it's 5 points apiece. And we'll be back to find out just how far a husband should trust his wife after this. All right, our next issue is a scene with a problem in it. And we'll give you 3 possible solutions, and then the choice is yours. If you'll watch again, please, you in the studio, your monitors. Now, this is Jean Smith. She's an attractive 35-year-old housewife who is happily married and has 2 children. She got a phone call today that has really picked her up. Let's look in.
Oh, hi, honey.
What are you so happy about?
Guess who
Damn it,
called me on the telephone today?
Who?
Chuck Springer. My old boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
Chuck Springer, ex-football star from Cal.
Muscles.
Still a very big swinging bachelor. And you'll never guess what? He asked me out to have lunch with him tomorrow. I can't wait!
Well,
What's the problem there?
there's a problem there, all right. There is quite a problem. Now, what do you think Harry should do? We have 3 solutions. Should he, A, emphatically forbid her from going to lunch? That's it, point blank, forbid her. B, trust her judgment and let her go. Fool. Or C, insist that the only way she's going to see Chuck Springer is if he goes along. The choice is yours, panel. I don't envy you. I guess similar things have happened to all of us. Melvin Belli.
Well, I think that he ought to go himself and get as far away from Goosey Jeannie as he possibly could. But over and above that, I certainly wouldn't let that dame go any place, even to the mailbox alone. And furthermore, and over and above that, I think I'd go along with her to the ball game or whatever it is and belt that football player in the eye, and then she'd probably feel sorry for him and stay with him if he wanted her to stay with him, which he shouldn't want to do in the first place. But you don't give me another alternative, so I'd say if he wants the dame, he better go along.
Okay.
And furthermore, what's this guy doing coming into this happy home?
Right.
What's he doing coming in there anyhow? I got to vote C on that one.
Okay.
You think you want to direct that verdict, Judge?
I'm working on it. I'm going to think on it during recess. Meredith, A, B, and C, we have a C. What do you want to do?
Well, first of all, if Chuck Springer called me, I wouldn't tell my husband. That's to begin with.
Good girl.
But I would vote B. I feel that, I would want my husband to trust me, and probably if I went along and saw this old beau, this old football player, he'd probably turn out to be fat and flabby, and he probably wouldn't be all that attractive anyway. But I would want my husband to trust me and let me go and let me find out for myself, and I'd probably appreciate him all the more.
There you are. Now we have a B and a C. There's a C, insist you go along. There's a B, trust her, let her go. And Nipsey, your choice.
Well, I'll vote A.
You would.
I would play football with Chuck, and I'd use her for the football. I wouldn't want her nerve in a tooth.
I don't like that thing.
No.
Well, it isn't that I dislike that particular woman, but I dislike the effrontery of females to suggest that they should be allowed to have dates with their former boyfriends. And for that reason, I would forbid it.
You would.
Completely.
All right. There's no... there's one thing is true. Melvin said it. Between Nipsey and Melvin, I don't think this...
He convinced me. I almost want to change. He ought to throw the dame out of the house.
He ought to be a trial lawyer. No matter how you voted, we have an A and a B and a C, but we're convinced that neither of the 2 men like this woman.
Oh.
And Meredith is being nice to her at the very best, so it's split A, B, C. Okay, we'll see how the audience feels about her and about him and about Chuck, the big football player. Audience, which do you feel is the best solution to this problem? Now, audience, should he, A, forbid the lunch date? That was Nipsey. B, trust her, let her go. That's what Meredith did. C, insist he go along. That was Melvin's only vote. He had no other alternative. All right, audience, the choice is yours. Vote.
Women can't vote on it. We can't, fellas. We're outnumbered.
Okay, time's up, and the vote is in. Now, let's take a look at the audience vote.
59.
59.
Wow.
That's pretty big on a two-good. Don't forget, that's three possible choices. 59 is a big majority. Now, 59% of our audience chose the ending you're about to see. Watch if you would.
Well, honey, so you're going to lunch with Chuck Springer,
Yeah.
ex-football player, swinging bachelor. Well, honey, I want you to go to lunch with him. I want you to have a real good time. You know, honey, I hope you're not sorry that after you have lunch with him that you married me.
Aw, honey, you're the greatest.
Do you believe that?
How great.
I think be lawyers together, as you suggested, but it's going to be Bella and Russell. At the wedding, a guy like that, when he's asked, do you take this woman, he said, I do. Don't I, dear?
Yeah. I can't understand that because I had to be with you. I had to be, either go along or tell her to knock it off. But the audience voted. That was the winner. But A, which was... that was Forbidden Lunch Date. That was Nipsey's. A had 11%. And C, which I thought was sort of a good solution, insisted to go along. I thought it was very judicial. And it came from Melvin Belli. It got 3%. 3% is... it's a tough jury, Melvin. But because you're the only one who matched the audience...
that he'd had to pay if he went along for three of them. The women voted me down on this.
The women, next time, we'll have a men-only question, but Meredith, no matter what, because the audience agreed only with you, you get 15 points for your
One
burial.
show, let it be the other way and see how many women will say, yeah, let him go with the girl.
We'll make a tape to that effect. We'll be back to find out who our winner is after this message of interest. Hey, we have a quick correction to make, Melvin. I think you'll be happy about this. It was not 3% for your answer, go along. It was 30%. Our machine, our computer, has sent an apology to another network.
Jury again down here. No, the judge couldn't read.
We got the recount, and you got 30%. Okay, panel, let's find out who our winner is for today. Each of you picked the card turned in by a member of our studio audience, and you're playing for that person. And this is what that lucky person receives as a gift from The Choice Is Yours. Jay.
This beautiful General Electric television set in handsome walnut cabinet featuring automatic tuning. Since the choice is yours, make it General Electric.
Okay, that's it. Now let's see which of our celebrities scored the most points. We'll go over and take a look at your score thing and see what we have up there. There comes some points. There's 5 for Nipsey Russell. Oh, that was beautiful, Nipsey. Nipsey's 5. Do you have a higher one anywhere? There is 25 for Melvin Belli. That's pretty good. Does that mean that Meredith has 40 points? Meredith, you wiped them out. What does it prove? I don't know. Proves that women know more than we men give them credit for. Which member of our studio audience were you playing for, Meredith?
Our winner is from Brooklyn, New York, and her name is Molly Rosen.
Molly Rosen from Brooklyn. Right there. Shut up, Molly. Molly, it's yours. The set is all yours. Congratulations, Molly. Take the set home to Brooklyn and plug it in, Molly, with our very best wishes. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you, Meredith McRae. Thank you, Nipsey. I still agree with you two fellas, no matter what happens. Goodbye.
The Choice is Yours is a Stefan Hatos-Monty Hall Production starring Bill Cullen.